My worst nightmare became a reality last week when I flew all the way out to Vegas just to witness an Eric Armadillo Xfinity Series win. This weekend, the Xfinity Series rolls on to the second race of the round of 8 at Talladega. And while the bad news is Eric Armadillo's on the entry list again, I'm not worried because so is Leland Honeyman. There's paint schemes to review. Let's go. Starting us off as we usually do is Sheldon Creed. And a cool story if you give a shit. The woman that sat behind me on Saturday, apparently her kids went to school and used to party with Sheldon Creed. If I had to learn that information, so do all of you. 9. I obviously want Connor Zilisch to lock up the championship, but it would be pure cinema if Carson Kvapil went the entire season without winning a race and then somehow fell into the Final Four just to win a championship and be part-time next year. Let's not forget, he's a short track guy. He could win at Martinsville and steal a championship in Phoenix. 10. I gotta tell you, Jesse Love surprised me with his performance at Vegas. Now he's headed to a track where he got his first career win and almost killed his best friend. He's gotta be feeling pretty good. 9. All this sponsor does is make me realize that every single soap in the aisle is owned by the same company. Parker Retzlaff's shower must look like a CVS. 9. For whatever reason, this jacked up gym nut Cesar Baccarella insists on running every single plate race. Does he ever get a good finish? Not really. Probably impresses the dudes at the gym though. 9. Check it out. Birthday shout out from my boy Nick Lights. I wish they'd put some respect on his name. They have him as like a 40 overall on NASCAR 25. What is that? 9. Every time I think Brandt has officially hit the peak of their one-off plant rides, they hit me with another paint scheme that leaves me googly-eyed. Unfortunately, Lionel Racing either hates Brandt or hates Justin Allgaier because none of these cars even make it to a pre-order. I want the same exact car next week, but instead of pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns. You heard me, goddammit. 10. Sammy Smith and I's relationship has taken a major step in the right direction. If you missed it, last night I went live on NASCAR 25, and Sammy Smith dropped by. And after a year and a half, I finally got an apology for his attempted homicide on my wife. He actually told me that he likes my videos, which left me a little skeptical because if he talked about me the way I've talked about him, I'd probably tell him to eat a bag of dicks. So either the guy is totally full of shit, or he's just a nice dude. Then he told me he had to leave so he could prepare for Martinsville next week. So what I've decided is between now and next Saturday evening, I'm going to sell my kidney and put it on Sammy Smith to win at Martinsville. If he wins, I pay off my credit card debt and start my Sammy Smith diecast collection. But if he loses, then I'll be out a kidney, and that'll give me even more reason to hate him. Got a lot riding on this, buddy. 4. I will say, I'm still quite intrigued to find out where Daniel Dye ends up next year. Obviously, he'll still be at Colleague, but will he be in an unaligned Xfinity car? Or is he going to trucks? Real head scratcher. 9. One thing we did find out today, though, is that Butterbean will be full-time in a Colleague Dodge next year. So we're going to go from Heim time to bean dipping. Going to have to work on that. 7. I guess my call-out last week reached the right audience because suddenly, Garrett Smithley's paint scheme is back on NASCAR.com. I'm going to give Tommy the benefit of the doubt. He was probably too busy trying to line up those stickers on the quarter. I've seen him put one sticker on. I can imagine how long it takes to do 11. 10. Christian Eckes is another guy that's going to have to figure out what he's doing next year. 8. Outside of Williams' abysmal start to the season, he's actually had a pretty good rookie year. I think this guy's going to win a couple races next year, hopefully in a better-looking car. 6. Not only did I have to suffer through an Eric Armadillo win in person, but I also had to watch his 27-minute-long burnout. This guy's going to win Joe Gibbs an Owners' Championship, and we're never going to hear the end of it. 4. And then you got Brandon Jones. 6. By now you guys should know that I'm the bad luck charm for Austin Hill at super speedways. Every super speedway race I've ever been to, Austin Hill has never won. Unfortunately, I won't be in Talladega, so you guys are all screwed. 7. But I have seen Harrison Burton win in person. But I also won't be in Talladega, so you guys are all screwed. 0. This is now 2 of the last 3 weeks that Dean Thompson has made me look like a complete, utter idiot for telling everyone to bet his top 5. You know, Dean, the damn group chat is ruthless. You're killing me here. 10. So what was the reason for just one weekend with the Ford logo on the quarter? This one's really got me confused. 10. This car reminds me of the old M&M's Halloween rides, and if you guys know anything about me, you know how I feel about those. 10. You'll never guess who this is. Josh Williams. I guess Alpha Prime does sometimes miss. 7. I've always wondered why the big machine racing one-off schemes are so damn ugly, and I finally got the answer from a very unlikely source. Emily. All this time I never realized that big machine racing is the same big machine that screwed over Taylor Swift. Now I'm no Swiftie, but that guy is a scumbag, and now it's all starting to make sense. 0. Just far too much going on. One day, Jeremy Clements will look back and reminisce on the 2024 Paint Scheme Review Championship season and wonder, what went wrong? 7. I'm sorry, Taylor. Last week I guaranteed that you were going to get your first win at Martinsville, and now I have my kidney removal surgery scheduled. So, 3. Great news for Honey Money. I guess sitting in front of the Wawa across the street from the Daytona International Speedway giving away hats that I'm still waiting on, landed him this new sponsor. Or it has absolutely nothing to do with it and I'm just a conspiracy theorist. But as long as Leland can refrain from spinning out at the choose cone, I think we're going to have a real shot at this one, boys. Especially after I send him all the wedding pictures I'm supposed to be getting back this weekend, right before the green flag. Seeing those pictures and being reminded of Emily and I's beautiful wedding is going to put his mind into a state of zen. When Leland wins this race on Saturday, the president and vice president of TP Media LLC will be on the first flight to wherever the party is. Then when you get home, maybe you can learn how to win on Fortnite. This car fucking bangs. 10. After an entire season of seeing Tableau ads on pretty much every Xfinity Series race, I still don't really know what it is. But I'll be damned. This is one of the best paint schemes of the year. You can never go wrong with a Talladega Nights tribute, especially at Talladega. 10. It's really nice to see Mike Harmon racing back at the track this weekend, this time with TikTok streamer Carson Ware behind the wheel. I'm not sure where the nearest Costa Oil is to me, but a $50 oil change in this economy? I'd be willing to travel for it. 10. Unfortunately, I think this is the weekend that Connor Zilich's top 5 streak ends, which actually has absolutely nothing to do with him or even the fact that they're at Talladega this weekend. The problem is these First Bank cars remind me of Elliott Sadler and the One Main Financial cars. And when I think of Elliott Sadler, I think of wrecking at Talladega. Just a lot of bad juju. And Talladega is Brian Branch. Get it? 9. Somewhere out there in North Carolina, across the hall from Tommy Simpson's bedroom, Mason Maggio is jumping with joy right now that his paint scheme actually made it on the Paint Scheme Review. That's because, for the first time since I could remember, he's racing for a team that actually uploads their paint schemes to NASCAR.com. I will say, it's a damn shame because this paint scheme for Vegas probably would have won Paint Scheme of the Week. But this week, he might not even get a top 3. It does fuck, though. 10. Stop me if you've heard this story before. Matt DiBenedetto got shit canned with only a few races left in the season. Certainly it can't be his fault again. 0. And the paint scheme of the week goes to Leland Honeyman. And you guys are going to bitch because it wasn't uploaded to NASCAR.com. But you know what? I make the rules around here. If this paint scheme was able to get heated up on a spoon and I wasn't terrified of needles, I would inject it into my veins. And with that being said, here's this week's top 3. Sorry, Mason, I know you're disappointed, but how are you going to beat Pumpkins and a Talladega Nights tribute? If it was a top 4, you would have made it. SS Greenlight heads into Martinsville holding the top 2 spots in the Paint Scheme Review point standings, and I think the 14 has officially clinched. Congratulations. Later.